Hello and welcome to the Specialist Trading presentation of the Trade of the Week, where in this week's presentation we're going to be discussing the indication of a trend change. Welcome, my name is Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading, and we are first and foremost an educational company where we take all the information, the tips, techniques, and the strategies I've accumulated in my 37 years, and we teach them to our students and to our members so that you can empower and make your own trading decisions. Now, before we begin, as always, I ask that you please take a moment to view our disclaimer. We're going to show you some performance results in which we feel may be the indication of a trend change, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer, and then we shall begin this webinar on the Trade of the Week. All right, before we begin, I also want to invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. We post a lot of great free information on a daily basis. In fact, we're going to talk about something that was posted today in today's presentation. So we just want to make sure that you are able to follow us at SPCLSTTRADG. Anywhere from financial wisdom to current signals that we're in not only the stock market, but the forex currency markets as well as the futures markets. All right, so let's start out by looking at a current chart, a daily bar chart of the S&P 500 index. Okay, this is an index chart, and as you can see, we go back to the end of, or I should say the middle of August, all the way up until today, Friday. Now, the beginning of this chart, we were headed in a nice clear uptrend, but in the last couple of weeks, we've been pretty steadily going lower. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean we are in a full-fledged downtrend? Have we started, or have we topped out and started to head much lower? Or is this just some type of pullback phase and then we're getting ready to go higher and make new highs? It's very difficult to tell because the market has a lot of fits and stops like this at times. So the way we do this, and one of our best tools at Specialist Trading, is by adding the PET-D. And this is the Primo early trend detector. What it is it's a proprietary algorithm. I learned this on the trading floor. I used to work on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was a specialist, and I was taught this algorithm. Now, the only trouble was we didn't have high-speed computers and programmers then, so we had to do it by hand on a daily basis. But now that we are able to identify this with a color bar scheme, we can know what the trend is on the short term. So it's a short-term trend identifier. And as I just stated, the way we discern this is by applying it as a color bar tool. So let me show you what we mean here. This is the chart, once again, of the S&P 500 index, starting somewhere in the middle of August all the way up until Friday, today, the 3rd. Now, if we apply the PET-D, we see that the colors change. The first half, the majority of the colors are green. The second half, the majority are red. So how do we apply this? How do we use this? Well, after we have a red bar or a green bar, in this case it would be a red bar if we go all the way back here to mid-August, we're looking for a color change. And when we see 3 consecutive bars of a different color, in this case the green bars, this is telling us that most likely an uptrend has begun and we are going to be going higher. Now, after this happened, the market went up a good 300 to 500 points after that, the Dow index, I should say. So we remain up, and even though we continued into September with an uptrend, we still had a splashing of red every once in a while. But remember, we need to see 3 consecutive colors that are opposite to green. So we are continuing to be in an uptrend up until this point right here. Now, this last bar in the 3 scheme here was on Monday. So on Monday, this is what we're talking about Twitter, we announced to all of our followers that most likely we were going to be heading lower because our proprietary tool, the PET-D, was signaling that we may be in a trend change. And as you've seen this last week, the market really fell out of bed. Now, be that as it may, we had a really nice rally today. Does this mean that the sell-off is over and that we are going higher, possibly making new highs? Well, we don't know. This could happen, but until we see 3 green bars appear, we are in a full-fledged downtrend. This downtrend may last a couple of days, it may last a couple of months, hopefully not a couple of years, but until we see 3 consecutive bars of a different color, we are sticking with a downtrend. Okay? Now, this could be a very substantial downtrend, could be just a downtrend and a pullback. We don't know because this has happened before, but until we change, we are looking for signals to go short as opposed to signals to buy. Now, As I stated, this has happened before, and in fact it happened in summer, beginning in midsummer from June to July. If we look at the chart in the IWN, which is the ETF of the Russell 2000, we were going straight up, and coincidentally all of the bars were colored green by the PET-D. All right, so telling us that a full-fledged uptrend was in place. Now coming into July, we had 3 consecutive red bars. So a lot of people thought, well, this is not a bad sell-off. This is just a pullback. We're going much higher. Let's continue to buy. The market has been very strong. But we knew at Specialist Trading that most likely we had changed trends because of 3 consecutive red bars, told our members to get out of long positions and to look to go short. And in the following weeks, we went much lower, roughly about 300 or 400 points on the Dow. So this is a great trend identifier. It's really helped to get you in sync with the market. It's not an actual system or a strategy, although we do have methods in which to trade with it. It's more so, its most powerful way of applying it is by using it as a short-term trend identifier. You can also use this long-term, though. Here's the beauty of the PET-D. If we want to apply it to a longer-term time frame, let's look at some monthly charts in the INX, once again, the S&P 500 index. We're going back roughly 20 years, and we see the wild swings that the index has had, all the way from topping out in 2000 in the internet crisis and the internet bubble burst, bottoming out in 2003, and then making new highs again up until 2008 when the financial bubble burst and the banking crisis happened, and then bottoming out again in 2009 and continuing to go higher. All right. Looking back in hindsight, sure, it's easy to see when these things would have turned and stopped, but once you're in the moment, it's very difficult. If we could have a tool that would help us discern when these changes were going to take place, we could really manage our portfolios much better. Well, all we had to do was apply the PET-D. And you see when you have this abundance of green, we're in an uptrend. When you have the abundance of red, we're in a downtrend. You simply wait for 3 of the opposite bar to present itself, and that tells you that the trend has changed. So for more information on this great tool that is our proprietary tool for all of our members at Specialist Trading, contact us at our sister site. That's protraderstrategies.com. They monitor and promote and sell all of my individual courses and techniques. You can email any one of their trading consultants at trading@protraderstrategies.com or call them directly at area code 310-598-6677. That concludes this week's Trade of the Week webinar. Thank you so much for attending. Please take one last look at our disclaimer. I showed you a lot of performance results using the PET-D, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I shared with you will be repeated in the future. Once again, we present these weekly webinars each and every Friday, so be sure to check us out and view these. They give a lot of great free information, hopefully to elevate your trading to the next level. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.